Hey, this is James, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 7 tips on how to tell a story. So we're starting right now. Cue the intro. This is James Writtenhouse, philosopher, storyteller, and entrepreneur, and I'd like to welcome you to video number 4 of Storyteller Series. In our last video, I walked you step by step on how to create your story. So if you missed that, you can click on that lowercase I in the upper right hand corner and it'll take you directly to the previous video. By this point, we've gone over what makes a good story, the elements of a story, and how to create a story. Now comes the fun part, telling our story, which brings us to these 7 tips that will help point you in the right direction. Tip number 1, use a hook. And no, I'm not talking about fishing hooks either, so put away your fishing line. A hook is a literary technique that opens the story in a way that grabs the reader's attention. It can be anywhere from a couple of paragraphs in a short story to several pages like a novel. If you're just starting out, a single sentence will do. There are many different types of hooks, but for this video, I'm going to give you 3 to choose from. The puzzler is a hook that raises questions that puzzle the reader. For example, I'm never really sure if it's a real memory or just something that's become more solid over time, but I'm sure that my mother once tried to murder me. This hook leaves the reader with more questions than answers. Is the narrator just making stuff up? Why would the narrator's mother try to kill him? Why isn't he sure if it's a real memory or not? The weatherman sets the atmosphere for the story and draws the reader in without even realizing it. Here's an example. The sky was a shade of midnight. The pavements shined with drizzle and reflected lights from lampposts and car headlights. I splashed along in my cozy rain boots. The key to making this hook work is to be as descriptive as possible with the environment. If you're going to use this hook, ask yourself questions like, is it hot or cold? Is it day or night? What season is it? Etc. Lastly, there's the painter, which focuses primarily on the visual elements in the surroundings. If your audience is primarily visual people, then this hook will be especially effective on them. Here's a quick example. My apple red rain boots shown as they splash through the puddles on the black tar pavement. Multicolored cars race past, cutting through the drizzle in the dark of the winter night. There's a statistic that gets tossed around that 65% of the human population is visual. That may or may not be true, but we at least know that many of us are, making this an effective hook to employ in your storytelling. Tip number 2, be authentic. This might seem obvious, but it's easy to forget that when you try hard to storytell, especially if you're just starting out. You already have the structure to create a story, but there is no structure that can be given to being yourself. Either you are or you aren't, and if you're not, then that means you're trying to be someone that you're not. Get comfortable in your skin and let it flow. Tip number 3, have a point to the story. There's no fun in telling a story or listening to a story that just goes on and doesn't seem to be going anywhere. In order for your storytelling to be effective, you must be purposeful. For example, if you're an entrepreneur, you can deploy storytelling to sell your products. If you're a public speaker, you can use storytelling to sell more seminar tickets. If you're a coach, you can use storytelling to motivate your team to give it all they got. And these are only a few of the many ways you can use storytelling. When your story has a purpose, it has a better chance of it resonating with other people. Tip number 4, show, don't tell. Telling your story is an opportunity to let your creative juices flow. Anybody can recount a particular sequence of events occurring, but a storyteller can take those same sequence of events and make it come to life. For example, instead of saying Billy felt nervous, why don't you describe how Billy felt? Does he have butterflies in his stomach? Are his palms sweaty? What's his internal dialogue? When you mention details like this in your story, the reader will be able to put 2 and 2 together in his mind and come to the realization that Billy is indeed nervous without having to say it up front. Tip number 5, omit any irrelevant details. I'm a big believer in the idea that less is more, and this applies to storytelling as well. After you've written the first draft of your story, look it over and take out whatever isn't important to the story. Irrelevant details may include characters, settings, or situations that aren't relevant or distract from the main purpose. Tip number 6, Use a good structure. If you're using the structure from the previous video, then this shouldn't be a problem. In any case, your story should have a solid and logical structure to it. Otherwise, your story impact will leave much to be desired. Storytelling is both an art and a science, and part of the science is having a solid structure. No matter what structure you decide to use, it's important that your story has a main character, desire, and conflict. You can think of it as a metaphorical three-legged stool. Remove any one of the legs and it's doomed to fall. Tip number 7. Practice makes perfect. There's no shortcut to getting good at storytelling, and you don't get good at storytelling by not telling stories. If you're a beginner, then you need to be okay with the fact that you won't be very good at first. Challenge yourself to write a new story every week or at least once per month. Practice telling your story in front of people that will give you honest feedback and constructive criticism. And don't forget to have fun. Humans have been telling stories for ages. Once you get good at it, you'll be able to captivate any audience in person or on paper. And that concludes this video as well as this video series. Leave a comment below and let me know if you got value from this. Since you decided to watch this video until the very end, I'm going to give you a PDF cheat sheet with all 7 tips that you can reference at any time, as well as 5 additional types of hooks that are only on the PDF. If you want instant access to this PDF cheat sheet, go to www.jamesrittenhouse.com/storyteller-worksheet-3. Input your email and I'll give you access to this cheat sheet. If you want to stay connected, make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you can be part of the notification squad. If you're watching or listening to this on Facebook, then please like and share this video so other people can get value from this as well. This is James Writtenhouse signing off. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.